Hello NBA world, Raptor fans, all NBA fans really. I know I'm wearing the Raptor hat. I just made a video about something else. And you know what, I have been thinking about this list. I've been thinking about all the top 100 players, top 50 players in the league. I thought about it all and I thought to myself, I want to name my own. Every list is going to be different. Every person's opinion on how they make the top 10 or top 20, top 30 list is going to be different. The way I personally see a top 50 list or top 30 list, it's all, your perspective. My perspective is how I'm going about this list. I'm doing top 30, Top 30, I'm going with, if I had a team this year, I'm a GM this year, it's my only year, and I got to win a title this year, who are the 30 players I'm picking? In what order am I picking them? Those are the 30 players I'm picking. There's some names that you guys are going to disagree with me, especially probably this one guy who, I'm going to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan. People can tell me the numbers, they can tell me the stats, they can tell me the way they play. I'm just going to be honest, it's just not it for me. It's just not it. I like, and I say probably some people on my list won't be these guys, but I like guys who can play both ends of the court, who won't be a liability defensively. I do prefer that. Some guys are elite offensive players, and you can't deny how elite they are offensively, no doubt. But these are the top 30 guys that I think are the best players in the league right now. And how I pick them, like I said, is based off, if I'm going to be a GM, the 1 year I have, and the owner's telling me I got to win a title this year, this is who I'm going with. That's just my thoughts, that's my thought process of doing all this. But before I start, make sure you like, subscribe, follow on all platforms. The community is going to keep growing. We're going to keep doing Raptor videos. We're going to keep doing NBA videos. I may sprinkle in some NFL because I love football. Football is actually probably my favorite sport, so I'm probably going to do more football down the line. And I may trickle in some wrestling because I have some takes in my brain that, one day I'm going to talk about CM Punk, and I just think people like certain people who shouldn't be liked. But that's beside the point. Eventually, we'll get to that. But let's see the top 30 guys. So I need my trusted phone for all this because of the fact I wrote it all down, but I just need it. I'm gonna keep looking down and then tell you guys. So when I was doing the 30, I decided, I'm just gonna do the 5 guys that could have made the list. So see it as a top 35, if you will. The 35, so the 5 guys that didn't make my top 30, but it doesn't really matter. There's 5 guys that I still gotta put. 35 is Sabonis. Sabonis is one of the most underrated bigs in the league. And I think he's not respected a lot because the way his game is, it's not flashy, but it's consistent. And I like seeing consistent players, and I think Sabonis deserves to be spoken about. Then I have to go Jrue Holiday, a guy who is a great third option on the Milwaukee Bucks, a guy who can be a third option on any team. He fits all teams. Yeah, he fits all teams. He's one of those guys that fit every single team. He can help every single team. Defensively, one of the best guards in the league. Jrue Holiday has been a good player, one of the most underrated players. He's a guy that if you have him on your team, you're not guaranteed a title, of course not, but you're guaranteed to win games with him. That's the thing. You can't be on a rebuilding team and have Jrue Holiday. He's going to play too good enough defense to be on. He's just too good. Jrue Holiday is actually really good, and that's why he's 34 on my list. 33 could be controversial to some, but I'm going to say Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal did not make my top 30. I like Bradley Beal. I potentially have a hot take. I hate saying the hot take. This is just my thoughts. Bradley Beal is a great, so I'll say this. Bradley Beal's a good number 2. Bradley Beal would be a good number 2. I think you'd be a great, an amazing, unstoppable number 3 option on the team. I really do think so. If you put him, of course, if you put him on a team with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, he's the third option. Now, when people hear third option, it doesn't mean you have to be the second or the third scorer on the team. You can be the second scorer on the team and still be potentially the third option. It's about who are the guys that we're asking to lead, who are the guys that we really need to depend on going forward and winning a title. That's what a third option to me is. It doesn't have to be a person that, well, he's a third person scoring. No, it doesn't have to be that. It really doesn't. Bradley Beal, if he was on the Toronto Raptors, could probably be tied or second to Pascal scoring. But I wouldn't call Bradley Beal the second option. Some would probably put Bradley Beal as the first option with the Raptors. I'm just saying a team. But ultimately, it would go Pascal, Scotty, and then Bradley Beal. And Bradley Beal would just be that third option. He could score as much as anyone else, but doesn't mean anything else. Like, it's like Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent averaged 18 points a game. He is not the Raptors' third option. He's not. He's arguably their fifth option. So it's one of those things you don't need to see a guy and say, like, oh, this person is the third option. You know what? I realize people talk so much on the bottom people, and then when you get to the top, there's not a lot of talking. So I'm going to move past that. Bradley Beal is 33rd. 32nd is Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards he's coming. That's it. Like, he's I just watched Hustle with him. He's a star. Anthony Edwards is a star. He is a star. He's coming. Like, that's it. He's gonna be top 15 probably by next year. If he's just playing the way he's playing, once again, he's like, some would say he's the second option on the Timberwolves. I think for them to get to where they can get to, I think he's the first option, right? Him and Cat can score the same amount of points, but I think Anthony Edwards has to be that leader for that team, the guy who's going to put everyone together. He's still young. He's still very immature. So you're hoping eventually it gets there. 31st, the guy who didn't make my top 30, and the guy who's my 30th, are very interchangeable. So I'm going to go 31st is Zach Levine. Zach Levine, in some sense, he could be a top 30 player. I think he's very talented. I think this year, and he's had some really good years. I think he's going to have an even better year this year. Once, DeMar, once again, was probably the second option on this team. Yes, DeMar scored, I think, similar points to Zach Levine, but Zach Levine has to become that guy, the one that's going to rally the troops, play great defensively, look at the coach and say, we got this. Don't worry about us. Like, he's that guy. So I can see Zach Levine becoming top 30 eventually. Now, 30th, let's just get to his teammate, is DeMar DeRozan. I love DeMar. Raptors alum. I gotta love DeMar. DeMar's that guy. I think he's one of the most disrespected players in the league. Because he shoots the mid-range, people disrespect him. Man averaged over 26 points a game. People are like, this is DeMar. I don't know why I keep watching certain podcasts, but watching a podcast, they're like, this is DeMar's best season. He'll never have a great season like that again. You didn't watch him with the Raptors. That's simple. You didn't watch him with the Raptors. He had a great season with Chicago. But I can argue he's had better seasons with the Raptors. I can argue and say, like, that year before he got traded to San Antonio was probably his best year. And even his passing ability, people talk about it being from San Antonio. He was doing that with the Raptors. Honestly, like, it's probably better now, obviously, because with age you get better. But DeMar is a great player. 29 is going to shock you. And the only reason why is because he honestly hasn't played. But you just watch a little bit of his highlights. I just saw his summer league, preseason. And I have to say, Zion is 29. Zion's going to be top 10. If he's playing healthy, Zion's top 10. The talent alone is top 10. Like I said, if I'm starting a team this year, and that's it, that's all I got is this year, Zion will be the 29th guy. I'd rather pick other guys before him because you never know how healthy he's going to be. So Zion's at 29. 28 is Chris Paul. I originally had Chris Paul much higher. Then I didn't. I'm like, you know what? No. Chris Paul's a good player. He's a leader. He is a number one guy who he can lead. He's one of the best leaders, if not the best leader in the NBA. So he's good. I was never really a Chris Paul fan. I have my reasons to not be a Chris Paul fan. One of those guys who I think media loves him, and that's why he gets as far as he gets. I think we need to hold him more accountable for his losses. Not everyone can win a title, and I said that in my last video, not everyone can win a title. But Chris Paul, and I'm okay with not everyone winning a title, but Chris Paul has had some moments where he didn't show up, and I think this should be accounted for. I think we should want more. That's my thought process. 27 is SGA. He's underratedly not spoken about as much, and I probably have him ranked really high. I'm probably also missing someone on my list, but these are the guys I thought about at this moment. But SGA is 27th. because I think when he becomes a Toronto Raptor, he's going to lead us to a championship. So, great job, SGA. Oklahoma City, just trade him to Toronto for nothing. You saw Victor. Do you even need draft picks? Just tank. Lose as much games as you can. Get Victor. Give us SGA for free. Don't worry about it. You get Victor, you get Chet. That's 7-1, 7-4. Just bring SGA. That's how I see it. 26 is Bam. I was kind of arguing with 26 and 25. 25 would be biased. Let me give you that hint. It's probably biased. But 26 Bam is great defensively, great offensively. He needs to do more offensively, though. We need to see more. He needs to score I want to see Bam score 23 points, 24 points a game. But defensively, as a center, he's a great anchor. I sometimes think that he's better as a power forward than he is as a center. I think if he had a center like a Brook Lopez, then I think Bam's natural position is power forward. I think he'd be better there. But Bam is great. Like I said, offensively he's good. He's a great rebounder. Defensively, probably win Defensive Player of the Year eventually, if not this year. So Bam's good. Bam's really good. 25, I'm biased. It's Pascal. I think Pascal doesn't get talked about a lot. I think there's multiple reasons why. I said people don't like his game. They don't like watching Pascal play. So because they don't like watching Pascal play, they don't think he's that good. Once again, I think they don't watch a lot of ball to think Pascal's not good. But Pascal's great. Pascal averaged pretty much 23, 8, and 5. It doesn't get talked about a lot. The only guys to do 28, to do pretty much 20 plus points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists were Jokic, Luka, Giannis, LeBron, Pascal. Look at the stats. I think I could be missing one more person, but that's what they did. And Pascal doesn't get talked about in any light the way those guys get talked about. Mind you, these other guys have different intangibles that Pascal doesn't have. He doesn't shoot the 3 well. I get that. But Pascal, he's the 25th best player in the league to me. To me, guys, just to me. I'm gonna wrap it through this. Brandon Ingram is 24. I think he gets talked about a lot. I personally can think that Pascal is better than Brandon Ingram. I can personally think that. But like I said, I'm a GM starting the league. I may want Brandon Ingram because offensively, he's more dynamic than most players that I named previously. So that's why. That's why. He's 24. 23 is cash money, Chris Middleton. It's cash money. And it's high. He's high on my list. And the reason why he's high, and a lot of people would say Brandon Ingram's better, or Pascal's better, or even Bam is better. Chris Middleton is that high because for what he does for a team is so undervalued. And everyone's saying if he was healthy, the Bucks would win a title. And of course, if you need certain players, and I think he's one of those guys that you need on your squad. Yeah, I think he would have helped win. I think he would have been really good if they faced the Golden State Warriors. I think so. And Chris Middleton is 23, but it could be controversial. Another potential controversial is Kyrie at 22nd. Let's just see it. Hopefully he plays. That's it. I'm not saying that. I hope Kyrie plays. That's just hope he plays. 21st, I got Donovan Mitchell. I love Donovan Mitchell. He's with my second favorite team, Utah Jazz. Then got traded to the Cavs. I can't wait to see what he's going to do. Once again, Donovan Mitchell, this year will score a lot, but eventually he's going to be the third option. It's going to be Garland, it's going to be Mobley, it's going to be Donovan Mitchell. They can all score the same amount of points. It's all about how and who's going to lead this team. How are they going to get, who's going to get the last bucket. It's things like that. It's like the small intangibles. Who's doing the little things to get you the title, People always talk about with Draymond Green, is he the second best player on the team or is Klay the second best player? Ultimately, Dre is the second best player on the team. But scoring-wise, he was the third or fourth option, right? But he's ultimately the second option on the team. He's the second guy that you're looking to lead your team because of what he can do. Now, headed to the top 20. 20th, like I said, I think the next two guys are going to be controversial. I'm going to go 20 and 19. 20 is Trey Young. Yep, 20 is Trey Young. I'll let you guys boo me now. Go ahead. Yeah, okay, cool. And Devin Booker is 19. You can boo me again. I'm listening. Right. Now, here's the thing. You can say I'm a hater. I have never been the biggest fans of either guys. I know how talented they are. I'm not an idiot. I watch talent. I see that they're good. Those guys are good players. Trey Young's a good player. I know that. Trey Young's a really good player. Great offensively. He's amazing offensively. That's it. Defensively, no. You know, I know he has a lot of assists, but and I think people call it like John Wall assist, like that late, like even Russell Westbrook does the same thing. Like these assists are not changing the game. They're not really like, I don't know. I don't think he helps the team. I don't think Trey Young helps the team. I think, once again, this is my list, and I'm picking Trey Young out of respect. But if I'm going to be disrespectful, he would be much lower. Trey Young would be much lower. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I think he's a great player. He's just not on my list of guys who I would want to help lead me to a title. He's just not there for me. That's how I see it. Devin Booker, he did a great job with Chris Paul. But that's, like, I want to see once Chris Paul retires what Devin Booker's going to do. Maybe I'll be back to, I wasn't the biggest fan. Then I became, you know what, he's always been talented, of course. But then I'm like, maybe, maybe not it. Maybe he's not it. Maybe he's like a second option or a third option. Maybe he's just not that guy, And that's like Chris Paul, if you think about it, it's the first option. Chris Paul's the guy that leads the team. Chris Paul's the one that gets hitting clutch buckets, Of course, Devin Booker joins in and he does his thing. But, like, Chris Paul's the guy. Chris Paul's the one that we're all like, Chris Paul has to be better. We're all, like, depending on Chris Paul. That's what, like, a number one option is. Someone that you're depending on. Like, you're truly depending on to be, like, great. Chris Paul, you're depending on to make everyone better. Like, of course, he's the point guard, but some other players make everyone better. That's what they do. So, that's my thing. 18 is Jalen Brown. I like Jalen Brown. I think he's a talented freaking player. People don't talk about him a lot, but Jalen Brown's talented. One of the better offensive players in the league. He can score at all three areas. He really can. Arguably, during the finals, he was the best player on Boston. He has number one option ability, but Jason Tatum is more dynamic. But Jalen Brown's one of those guys that I would want him on my team any day. Any day, I would want him on my team. I think he's incredibly talented. Incredibly. Now, number 17 is Rudy Gobert. He gets limited offensively, and I think I was watching a podcast, which I actually mess with a lot, which is Through the Wire, and Mike, same name, had stated about, you want to just see it, right? And I think it's one of him and Kat, who happens to be, Kat's my next guy, so both of them, so Kat's 16, Rudy Gay and Kat, you just want to see it. This is your time, this is your year, I want to see them make it. I think they're going to win 8 games. I really do. I think they may win 50 games. I won't be shocked. I won't be shocked if they're top 3 in the West. I think Rudy Gobert makes you win a lot of regular season games. Now when it comes to playoff time, it's a little different. So I'm very curious what's going to happen. He's a generational defensive player, and I think he deserves a lot more respect in that regard. So he's been 17 and Cat's 16. Cat is one of the better offensive scorers in the league. Probably the 3rd best center in the league. Cat's good, right? There's nothing to really talk about with Cat. I'm hoping a big year. I'm hoping him and Rudy can do something with Anthony Edwards as well. Now we get to the top 15. James Harden is 15th. He had I wouldn't say he didn't have an up and down. He had a season. I wouldn't call it up and down. James Harden, he says he's coming back healthy. I'm curious to see what he can do. But James Harden's a guy that has led worse players. When you talk about people who make other guys better, James Harden makes other people better. He really does. The man's scoring 40 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, but he's literally making everyone better around him. And he does that consistently, right? And, you hear Doc talking to him and saying that, Joel's our option and it's you, but you got to get Tobias ready. You got to get Maxey ready. You got to get everyone going. Because James Harden can get a shot anytime he wants to. He really can. He's the guy that, in clutch moments you're going to look to in the playoffs to really score that last game-winning basket. If it's not Embiid, it's James Harden. So that's 15. 14, same thing with James Harden. You got to say the same thing about this guy, Anthony Davis. Be healthy. please be healthy. I don't know. My brain couldn't go anywhere else, but just be healthy, Anthony Davis. We need you to be healthy. I want to see, with you being the number one option, what's going to happen. I want you to really take the Lakers somewhere. Honestly, somewhere. Take them somewhere. Let's go with 13, Paul George. Yeah, I think some people may have him higher, some people may have him lower. Paul George, I think, is just right. I think Paul George is 13th best player in the league. I think, offensively what he can do, defensively what he can do. Him and Kawhi probably can lead that team to the Western Conference Finals. That team's really good, and I think he's one of the reasons why. Paul George has always been talented. I think Paul George has one of the best looking shots in the league. Simple. Number 12 is someone who a lot of people put top 10, but I have not, is Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is 12. I think he's like Paul George, but younger. I think Tatum could be a better defender. I think he's a good defender. He could be better. I think Jason Tatum was like an all-elite defender. I think he would probably be top 5. I think Jason Tatum offensively is gifted. The man is gifted with so much talent. So Jason Tatum is 12. He's gonna make it to top 10. Maybe, who knows? Top 10 is hard, right? At one point, I think we had a solid 11 that just wasn't questioned. I think now it's a little. You can intermingle, take a guy out, take a guy in. It all depends of how you see it. But my number 11 is a guy who, honestly, I'm gonna argue this. This is the only argument that I'm gonna fight for forever, probably, until this guy is not there. 11 is Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is not a top 10 player. He's just not. He's not a top 10 player. But you know what he's not? He's not number 12. Jimmy Butler is not number 12 either. He's 11th. Because when you're the 11th best player in the league, which, is still phenomenal if you think about it, when you're 11th, it's because you're just not top 10. But you're not lower than 12, man. You are one of the best players in the league, hands down. Hands down. Jimmy Butler, when it comes to playoffs, he's top freaking 5, okay? Especially the past few years, he's led that team, man. Jimmy Butler is really good. He's the 11th best player in my list. He's the 11th best player in the league in general. I don't care what any of the list says, ESPN, CBS, NBA, I don't care. He's the 11th best player in the league because you would love to have a Jimmy Butler on your team. Would love it. Love it, love it, love it. Number 10 is Dame Dollar. Dame is number 10. My top 10 starts with Dame. He's, he had a really bad injury. Really bad. I hope he's healthy as well. So in saying that, I believe in Dame. I think a lot of people would want Dame on their team, and especially because of loyalty. He doesn't want to leave Portland. I think 99% of fans, even Portland fans, are like, Dame, it's okay. It's okay. It's like when Wayne Gretzky left. It's okay. We understand. You gotta go for the title. I think we all want Dame to win the title. I think Dame is probably one of the most universally liked players, and I think we all just want Dame to. We all want Dame to succeed. So I think we all want Dame to win. But Dame, he's the one guy that I can say defensively, not the greatest. I think when he locks in, he's great. When he locks in, but not great. Good. I should say good. But Dame is there. 9 is the boy, Ja. Ja's coming. Just like I said with Anthony Edwards, Ja's still coming. He's not done yet. And my only fear with Ja is that his career is going to end up like Russell Westbrook, or end up like Allen Iverson. That's my fear. I hope that's not the case. That's just my fear. Just okay. But Ja, you saw what he's done since year 2, even year 1. Led them to the bubble. They lost, but still led them there. Still had the case of making it. They didn't make it, but just had the case. Just little things like that. It's just they're a good team. They're a good team, and who knows? They have Jaren Jackson, so they may regress a little bit this year, but I still believe in that team. Number 8 is Joel Embiid. Best big, best actual big center, best center. To me, there's another center that's higher, but Joel Embiid is Joel Embiid's that nice. The only thing you worry about him is injuries, how much games he's gonna play, and that plays a factor to me too, right? How much games is this person gonna play? So I know if I'm starting the league now, I'm thinking about how much games do I have Joel Embiid? Will he be healthy in the playoffs? And I'm not too sure about that. But he's still the 7th best player in the league. He's probably gonna go for MVP this year. He may say he doesn't want it, but he wants it. Yeah, he definitely wants it. 7 is my guy, Luka. the young king. Every time I watch Luka, I'm like, he's the young king. He is the young king. Love him. Love Luka. The man makes everyone better. Dallas had no business going to the Western Conference Finals, and they may not make it again. But like, his second best player was Jalen Brunson, which is a good player. But after that, even now, who is the second best player? Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie's good. I'm not dissing Dinwiddie at all. But I think we all can agree that Luka needs Bradley Beal. Needs a Bradley Beal on his team. Needs someone who can score the basket just as well as he can. And Luka's he lost weight, but he was fat before, and he was doing his thing, and that within itself is crazy. Let's go with his European brother at Jokic is number 6, and it's crazy because a lot of people pick Jokic 6, or some people put him top 5, some people don't. The man won 2 MVPs and he's not top 5. Even I think it's disrespectful. Even I want to do an audible and put him top 5 because how can this guy not be? But the top 5 guys are just the guys who, if you need a title, you're picking them immediately. It doesn't matter. You're doing it this year, picking them immediately. But Jokic is number 6. He's so close, right? Because I hope Jokic wins the title. I hope he doesn't go a long time, or Dirk take a long time to win the title. I hope he has a good squad. Jokic is good. I really believe in Denver as a whole. I think they're a really good squad. Number 5 is Kevin Durant. He's a easy money sniper. He's probably the best scoring forward that we've seen in a long time. He's good. I think if we're all talking about the Victor Wembanyama's, the Chet Holmgrens, all these players are all skinny as hell. They're all Kevin Durant light. We're all looking for Kevin Durant. Every team is looking for Kevin Durant. Toronto Raptors, my team, all pretty much want in the limelight of the Paul Georges and Kevin Durant's. That's what you're looking for. A guy who's darn near 7 foot, play defense and shoot threes. We're all looking for the same guy. Number 4 is my former boy. Still my boy. I still miss him sometimes. Kawhi Leonard. Still miss him. Kawhi's number 4. When healthy, one of the best defenders in the league when healthy. So we want Kawhi's that guy. I think he's one of the best shooters in the game, pure shooters, and that's it. That's what leads us to number 3, the best pure shooter in the league, Stephen Curry, the MVP of the finals. When he's on your squad, sky's the limit. This is where those top 5 guys, when they're on the squad, just know that the good things are going to happen. So that's Steph Curry. You saw what he did. He led that team. He did whatever he can to get that MVP. He killed it in the finals. Boston really didn't have a lot of answers for him. Simple. Maybe if he had Fred VanVleet to guard him, you never know. Never know. Well, who knows? But yeah, Steph is definitely 3. 2 is a guy that I still think 2, I'm going to go LeBron. Okay, I think LeBron's still the best player in the league, okay? We all know who number 1 is. Giannis is number 1. We don't have to. Giannis is number 1. I think universally, Giannis is number 1. LeBron is number 2. And I just think, I had a video a month back saying that LeBron is still probably the best player in the league. And I know no one wants to admit it, because some people love Jordan so much, they don't want to admit it. I'm telling you, if a GM can choose right now a guy who's going to lead their raggedy team to the finals, just a raggedy team, you would still pick LeBron, right? The reason why you pick Giannis is because Giannis is so dominant. Giannis is the most dominant player we have in the league. And because he's so dominant, he deserves to be number 1. He's more dominant than LeBron. But for some reason, LeBron is just an overall better player. Dominance doesn't mean you're the best player. Shaq was the most dominant player. There's some years he wasn't the best player. He was the most dominant, though. So that just doesn't always work like that. But yeah, Giannis is number 1. There's no argument. There's not much you can say about Giannis. He's just that guy. Could have won another title this year. And LeBron's number 2. But Giannis is my number 1. That was a long list. I didn't know I was going to go this long. Doesn't matter. I'm glad I'm talking to y'all. I hope you guys like the list. If you don't, please comment below. If you want me to explain more about my list, I can. I can do more in a podcast form. Who knows? I went too long talking, so my video stopped. But make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm going to talk to you soon. Put your list below, and I'll see you guys later.